My name is Epicenter. I am from Winter Rock, Arizona.
Hi, my name is Tanisha Aliyah Bedoni. I'm from Nara, Kenya, but I live in Kayenta, Arizona.
Hello, my name is Kevin Greyes, and I'm from Techi, Arizona.
My name is Brian Cly. I'm from Kayenta, Arizona.
My name is Scott Hawkersmith. I'm the owner and CEO.
Working with SSE for about 6 months, and I was the technician for the Winter Rock, St. Michael's, and Fort Defiance area.
I work at SSE. My position would be field technician.
And I work for a company called Southern Solution Environmental. Title with them is field lead technician.
My job title for SSE is a field technician.
And I'd like to take this time to thank all of the hardworking employees that have stepped up and assisted us during this time.
Communication was great, when I worked with them, and also knowing a lot of other people in my community and around this area. I got along with getting all of it, basically the decon services done.
It felt like I was the one, it was like my turn to take care of my family.
A lot of motivation for me comes from my kids. I want to show them that I'm a person that doesn't give up.
It feels good to me knowing that what this company is doing is not just for themselves, it's for the people. It's for everybody, basically the point is, it's to make this world a better place.
I want to thank you, and I want to thank your continued efforts as we carry into the next phase of this pandemic. Unfortunately, due to the Delta variant and other new variants of concern, it appears as though we need to continue our disinfection campaigns. We need to ensure that tribal facilities will continue to be disinfected, and so that you and your community will remain safer.
Navajo Nation are reminding everyone to remain diligent as they work to slow the spread of COVID-19. Along with weekend lockdowns, they've also had a rigorous cleaning schedule. Our Jamie Warren speaking with that crew on the ground. So what's next for them?
The company is called Southern Solutions Environmental. Their vice president is Colin Anderson. He says they've been spraying areas all over the Navajo Nation from Chinle to Window Rock with a chemical called D7, which they say can kill the virus on surfaces and in the air. They were working free of charge, but with the CARES Act, they say some money has been allocated to keep them around for much longer. Anderson says they could be on the Navajo Nation until at least 2022, continuing this effort.
What we had planned to do and what we are actively doing is hiring with a Navajo first preference to make sure that the money that's coming in for the CARES Act is actually going back to the community instead of to some contractor that's just going to take it back to Texas or wherever.
He says they're working to expand that by another 20 or so employees, and the hope is to have them stationed at all parts throughout the Navajo Nation.
Hi, my name is Tanisha Aliyah Bedoni. I'm from Nara, Kenya, but I live in Kayenta, Arizona. My clans are Natota Nehe Tachini Slana Bashichin Topahan Dashichay Torichini Dashanella. I work at SSE. My position would be field technician. The high school I attended at is at Mountain Valley High School at Kayenta, Arizona. And I graduated the year of 2020. I would say that my favorite teacher would be Mr. Zilowski, and I would say he was my favorite teacher is because he was my art teacher. My favorite project would be art class. How COVID affected my family was mainly money-wise, because already from the beginning we were already struggling with bills, money, how to feed ourselves and including our animals too. And I would say it got even more harder was because my parents and my sister lost their jobs due to COVID. And then on how we would get our money was by hauling woods, because winter was already coming, so we knew that hauling woods would bring money to the table. How I heard from SSE was from an old friend. Her name is Diné Busailis. I received a text message from her on Messenger saying that there's a job opening dealing with sanitation around COVID. So I asked her about how much hourly pay it is. She told me that it's $20 an hour, 8 hours, or no, 12 hours, I believe, $20 an hour, 4 days a week. So, of course, I'm gonna respond yes. After when I responded yes, I told her that I'm gonna be going to the location where to pick up the application. So after when she told me the location on where to get the application, I told my dad to turn around the truck, which we were halfway from hauling woods. I told him to turn around so I could get the application in Kanta. The reason why I apply at SSE is because the money I know that I will be receiving, and including that I knew that I needed to help my family money-wise, of course. It felt like I was the one. It was like my turn to take care of my family, since that my parents weren't working and my sister wasn't working. The three of them were providing for the household, but until COVID hit, they got let go. They recently got let go during COVID. I was still in school. Of course, I had to attend school, do classes. I wanted to help my family with money-wise, but there was no job opening. Everything was closed. So the only way that we knew that we still had to make money was to haul woods. The people who I worked with, we were paired up in a team of 4. I worked with a lady named Lavina, two males, Jerry and Jamie, and including me, Tanisha. So the 4 of us would be in a team. I would say on how we were similar on how we would want to clean. I would probably say that part would be the coolest part, because on how we clean, we would want to clean on how our house would want to be clean, and on how we really wanted to keep other people safe from the sickness, and we didn't want it to spread. So we would try to gather up in our waiting room and discuss where are we gonna clean, who's gonna clean it, and how many times of the day are we gonna clean it at that area. The person who inspired me and my family would be my Nelly lady, Zonnie Bosley. The reason why I say that she's a person that inspires me is because she's independent from the beginning. I say that she's independent is because she raised three children of her own by herself, and she did not depend on anybody, which makes me look up to her even more. She has a little brother she is taking care of that has special needs, and she was also taking care of her mother too. So other than that, I say that my Nellie's independent is because she takes care of everybody who is all around her. She has no boundaries. She's welcome. She has open arms to everybody. My Nellie's just a really big open person, I would say. She's always happy all the time. She welcomes people who she didn't even know about. She doesn't even know the names. She don't even need to know the names in order for her to care about. Fighting COVID with SSE, I'll probably say that I thought that I would have been weak, because I thought that I would be by myself, as you could say, even though I'm around other people that I'm working with. In the beginning, when I started working, I thought that I was going to be by myself, so I kind of thought of myself weak because that was my first job. I didn't really have any experience at all for working at a professional job. And then I would say that from realizing that I thought I was weak, but no, instead of thinking that I'm weak, I realized that I was just experiencing things I have never thought that I would experience. as you could say, even though everything that I experienced was during COVID.
Kevin Gray, I'm from Touchy, Arizona, and I'm board for Diné, and I work for a company called Southern Solution Environmental. Title with them is a field lead technician. My daily tasks from starting with SSE would be, of course, waking up in the morning, showing up to work, making sure, you check in with the bosses and you call in, making sure that everyone shows up for shift. We call it the 8 o'clock meetings, so that's what we conducted, and that's what we did. To start off the day with the routine that I was at, it was an isolation site over in Chinle. We had to make sure that the building was sanitized. My daily task for SSE over at the alternative care site in Chinle was to maintain a sanitation area and building, which means we had to make sure the entranceways were completely wiped down with the best products that were killing the COVID-19 at the time. Before I started working with SSE, I was a correction officer for a while. I was doing that for a couple years. I would say about close to 4 years. That's kind of where I got a lot of training, kind of the discipline of how to show up to work and conduct yourself, and keep maintaining your schedule and maintaining that responsibility and leadership, and even down to the cleanliness of taking care of a building. And we were overseeing over like an isolation site, they would say, and they had patients coming in and out that the doctors from IHS would come down and check on them with the ambulances. And that was my first initial steps into dealing with COVID, I would say. So that was kind of where I got to see that COVID was actually here on the reservation, doing what it does to the people, that hurting them and affecting them and putting them in situations that they never thought they would be in. So I got to see all that, working that little security job before coming on with SSE. So with the opportunity to jump with SSE, I took it because I knew what they were doing, the fight that they were at. They were what is now known to me is called a hot zone. They're the ones that I saw were going into where these people were staying. They were calling it deconning. They were using their a chemical called D7. So seeing that, it really opened my eyes up. Like there's actually something out there that's fighting this. It's not just it's, and seeing who it was people that they were from out of state, and you got people that were that were here already too. So with that combined, that's what I saw, and that's why I wanted to join. I wanted to be part of that team. One day I was sitting there, checking people come in. We check them in. So here comes a red trailer with a couple guys in it, and they're saying they're a decon company, and they're SSE, they're Southern Solution Environmental, and we decontaminate COVID buildings. So that to me right there was like, are these like the guys that come in the white suits and stuff like that? Because I never seen that at the time. Sure enough, we check them in, we write them down, and they gear up and they're getting ready, and they just tell us what they're gonna do, and they get in their PPE gear. Just seeing that was my first initial contact with them, seeing it. And then when they were leaving, that's when all the questions came into what You know, you wanted to know what they were doing, where they were from, even down to like, aren't you guys scared? You know, aren't you guys worried about what you guys are doing? And I even asked like, why are you guys even out here? You know, back at that time. That was my initial and first encounters with SSE, and the talks of it of, again, coming back to helping the community. That's what they brought forward, and that's what I saw, and that's what I always been wanting to do, especially here living, doing, you know, being around my people, and that's what I saw. The person that really inspired me a lot would be my grandpa. You know, growing up, living with him and having to help him take care of his animals, you know, go woodalling with him, do all the normal things that a res kid growing up with no water, or, you know, just a little bit of electricity, and, you know, just having to do things on your own. That's where it came back to with my grandpa, the inspiration of helping people. And because I guess, well, I don't know, I wouldn't say I guess, but my grandpa, he was known as a medicine man, so he used to help people in certain ways that he could, you know, to pray for them, and, you know, people really respected him, and I saw that being with him. So that's where a lot of inspiration of getting the thank yous and having people appreciate what you're doing, even, you know, just even that, you know, just the appreciation. A lot of motivation for me comes from my kids. I want to show them that I'm a person that doesn't give up. I want to let them know that, you know, their dad, his mind is open to a lot of things, that he's not just ordinary a dad, you know. He can help wherever help is needed, and I want to keep learning to teach them. So the motivation of to keep going, to keep learning new things, to keep meeting new people, and pursue, you know, whatever it is that, you know, your mind, or just even a thought that you want, or a feeling that you want to feel. Just go after it, you know. Don't let anything hold you back. So a lot of motivation comes from that, and that's what gets me up every morning, to show them, you know. A lot of it has to be talked about, and a lot of issues need to be, you know, brought up and talked about. And in 5 years, you know, I hope I'm one of those individuals that actually, you know, can step up and will step up to help our community, you know, with these problems, because there is a lot of silent problems out there that a lot of people don't really talk about and know about.
For the safety of our families, friends, and neighbors, much of what we thought had to change during the pandemic. People stayed home, businesses closed, and a hush of silence overcame the country. But because of the hard work of the scientific and medical communities, people are coming back. Dining areas have guests, audiences are in seats, spots are filling up, and America is reopening. But who's been vaccinated? You don't really know. How well do the vaccines work against the variants? They're not as good. And will the variants cause a resurge? We don't know yet. What we do know is the importance of biological safety, and that SSE Global is a leading provider of biosecurity services. In 2020, SSE worked in federally run hot zones and decontaminated more than 10 million square feet of space in some of the hardest hit tribal reservation lands in the US. As America continues to reopen, find out how utilizing SSE Global biosecurity services can reduce the threat of infection at your facility, so everyone is made safer, people feel more confident when they go there, and we can truly end the threat of COVID-19. Your people are counting on you, and we can help.
Coronavirus is a highly contagious and deadly pathogen. Infection can result from direct contact with someone who has it, even if they currently have no symptoms. It can become airborne for hours and remain infectious on surfaces for many days. Because of this, shared facilities can become the source of transmission for the people who go there. D7 is a military-grade disinfectant that is applied as a foaming mist. It kills coronavirus both on surfaces and in the air. Unlike other solutions that have trouble reaching the virus because of the bodily fluids that surround it, D7's peroxide solution base incorporates a unique detergent that penetrates the layers, protecting coronavirus. Once inside, D7 destroys the RNA and neutralizes it. By reducing the threat of infections at your facility, everyone is made safer, people will feel more confident when they go there, and we can relieve some of the strain on our healthcare workers. Help your part of America get back to being America. Don't you owe it to everyone who relies on you to do what you can? Take the next step and start the process now of decontaminating your facility. Your people are counting on you, and we can help.